The most complex part of sport climbing is cleaning the anchor and getting yourself down safely. Some sport climbs have hooks at the top that are super big and beefy and intended for you to lower off them. If that's the case, then you just clip through the hooks, call for tension, retrieve your gear and lower yourself out of there. We don't even need to go into that in detail, but very, very often you'll find bolts and rings or bolts and chains at the top, in which case you need to actually untie to thread your rope through those rings or chains. This is where you have to do a little thinking about how to do it safely without dropping yourself or your rope. I've come up here to clean this bolt anchor. We're done with this climb. And the first thing I want to emphasize is Troy and I communicated before I left the ground about how I was planning to do this. I've seen people who thought their partner was going to transition to a rappel and then took their partner off belay. The partner leaned back to be lowered. Could be really bad if you lean back to be lowered and you're not actually on belay. In this case, I do plan to be lowered and I've let Troy know that. So you'll notice I'm not going to call off belay. I'm just going to ask for slack in the system when I need to untie and thread the rope through the rings. I'll retie and then just have him lower me to the ground. So what I need to do is get the rope through the rings and then tied back to my harness without dropping it. That's the main thing. That would be really embarrassing if I dropped the rope and needed somebody else to lead this climb or walk around the back and rescue me. So I'm hanging, I've got tension in the system. I can take whatever I'm using to tether. In this case, I'll just use my PAS. I could use quick draws or shoulder slings, lock that carabiner, and since I like to be redundant in my safety systems, I'll go ahead and take a quick draw and clip it to a loop on my PAS such that I'm pretty much equalized to the two bolts. Okay. That looks good and safe. Troy, you can give me some slack.
You got slack.
So he's put some slack in the system and I can unclip from the anchor since I'm safely tethered. Take up a little more slack and I'll just tie a clove hitch and clip it to what I have available, which is one of the quick draws that constituted our anchor on this pair of bolts. Okay, now I can untie without risk of dropping the whole rope and dangling here, needing a rescue. I'll untie and thread the rope through the rings. You'll notice I'm going to lower off and I'm tethered directly to the rings because these are modern stainless steel rappel rings. If you see the super thin aluminum old school rappel rings, don't tether to those and don't lower off of them either. You need to rappel to avoid burning through those lightweight aluminum ones. But these are big, beefy, modern rings. I can lower off of these, I can tether to them. So I pull the free end through, and to attach the rope back to my harness, I'm just gonna tie a bite knot, a figure 8, and double check that knot, dress it nicely. Okay, that looks great. Clip that to my belay loop with a locking carabiner. Make sure that's locked. I'm okay being on just one locking carabiner for the duration of a lower. I can keep an eye on it. I can take this clove hitch out. Before I ask Troy for tension and shift my weight onto the secondary safety system, I'll get the quick draws out that we were using for our anchor. Just get those out of the way. Okay, Troy, tension.
Tension's on.
And now we're engaging that system. I can get rid of this one. Give me a little slack, Troy. Just needed to unweight the system to get the PAS out. Okay, tension.
Tension's on, Roddy.
And that's it. All clean. Ready to lower.